Friday night J-League action under the lights at the National Stadium. It is time for the Tamagawa Classico. F.C.Tokyo taking on Kawasaki Frontale to kick off Matchweek 13 of the J1 season. A big rivalry game in front of a huge crowd in the capital city. This should be quite some occasion. The two teams in contrasting form right now. F.C.Tokyo coming into this off the back of successive defeats and conceding 5 times at Consa 6 days ago. But Frontale's fortunes have been on the rise of late after a really disappointing start to their season. Champions in 4 of the last 6 years. They've now won 3 matches in a row to move into the top 6 in the table. Always a match that matters that little bit more, this one. Staged at the National Stadium this year as opposed to F.C.Tokyo's usual home, the Ajinomoto Stadium, which itself holds just under 50,000 in the city of Chofu, just west of downtown Tokyo. But they are on the big stage today. Certainly signs that Kawasaki Frontale have been getting their season moving in the right direction after stumbling out of the blocks in the early weeks of the campaign. And that continue in the capital today. Here they come onto the big stage then for the Tamagawa Classico. The National Stadium awaits. J-League under the lights. Some spectacle. Always a fierce rivalry, this one. It is one that Kawasaki Frontale have had much the better of recently, winning the last 5 matches between the clubs in all competitions and each of the previous 7 league meetings. They're unbeaten in this Classico in 9. Since a 2-0 home defeat 5 years ago. Frontale have triumphed in their last 6 trips to Tokyo, 5 of them in the league. They haven't lost here since March of 2017. F.C.Tokyo hoping that the change of venue tonight, one of a handful of matches that they will play here at the National Stadium this season, will inspire them to find their best form, to find the consistency that has so far eluded them over the course of the current campaign. 3 points at stake in J1 tonight, but it has the feel of a cup final, doesn't it? A standout fixture with which to kick off Matchweek 13. 100 J1 appearances for Yasuda Abe, who has been important of late, Tokyo-born in his 5th season with F.C.Tokyo, receiving the pre-match presentation. Goal scorer in the vital victory at Sanfrecce Hiroshima last month. His only goal of this season so far in what has been a difficult campaign for Tokyo. Incredible noise ahead of kickoff. Let's have a look at the team news. F.C.Tokyo have rung the changes, 6 of them, from the 5-1 defeat at Consadole Sapporo last time out, with 3 of those coming in the back 4. Yuto Nagatomo, Yasuki Kimoto and Shuhei Tokamoto all return. There are recalls as well for Kaigo Higashi in midfield, and further forward for Teruhito Nakagawa and the Brazilian Diego Oliveira, who will lead the line. Both have been regular starters all season and came on at half-time last weekend. Yasuda Abe operating just behind that front 3. But Puig and Toru Oniki in opposition in the dugout today. 2nd season at the helm for Tokyo's Spanish coach. Frontale very much the dominant force in this rivalry recently. Yuichi Nishimura is tonight's referee, a vastly experienced official for an occasion like this. He's been refereeing in J-League for well over 20 years now, and been to 2 World Cups. And will take charge of matters on the field this evening. Tanemoto has the VAR responsibilities in the booth. The selection is more straightforward for Kawasaki Frontale. Toru Oniki has made just 1 change to a winning side, with the experienced Kyohei Nobarazato returning at left back and taking the place of the 18-year-old Kota Takai. Otherwise, it is as you were, with Miki Yamane and Akihiro Ienega, the 2 ever-present starters in the team in J1 this season. Tasei Miyashiro is the top scorer with 3 league goals so far. Back-to-back defeats for F.C.Tokyo ahead of this. Let's see what sort of response they have on the big stage. Kawasaki Frontale waiting to get the action underway in their change colours in the white. Well, kick-off in the capital, in the Tamagawa Classico. F.C.Tokyo looking to bounce back from their biggest defeat of the season last weekend, but having to do so against rivals finding their form, and a Kawasaki Frontale team who have dominated this rivalry in recent seasons. Their upturn in fortunes coinciding maybe with a placing goal for Kemi Fukumoto, who has become the regular starter in recent matches, a 5th straight appearance ahead of the experienced Jung. F.C.Tokyo will attempt to apply some early pressure on his goal. Borizato back in the side, left back today. His 15th season with the Frontale first team. It's pretty comfortable for Kemi Fukumoto. He's in his first season since signing from Kyoto Sanga. He's only conceded 2 goals in his first 4 appearances. He have noticeably tightened up at the back of late. One goal has been enough to win in the last 2 matches. Victories against Kyoto Sanga and Sagan Tosu more latterly just 5 days ago. 1-0 win on Sunday was more comfortable maybe than the scoreline would suggest. The one frustration for Frontale was that they weren't able to go on and score more goals in it. Progress has certainly been made since the difficult early weeks of the season. For a team that missed out on retaining their title only by 2 points last season, they have won it in 4 of the last 6 years. The title that F.C.Tokyo, the capital club, are yet to take. Currently residing in the bottom half of the table coming into this. And they've started it on the front foot. The vastly experienced Yuto Nagatomo will take the throw. 7 seasons he had in Serie A with Inter. Now in his second spell, back at the side where it all started for him. Can't quite force a way through, but will probably settle for that as they keep the early pressure on. Nakagawa was part of the Yokohama F. Marinos team that picked Frontale to the title last season before making the move to Tokyo. He's likely to be a key figure in the attack as well here, as the home team prepare for the corner kick. To be taken by the left back, Tokumoto. Has come across to do so. The new signing for this season. They're pretty comfortably initially. This is where Tokyo have to be careful to guard against the counter-attack. This side have been so successful over recent seasons. Toru Oniki, he didn't panic when results didn't go their way in the opening weeks of this season. To build on their recent improvements. 3 straight wins coming into this game, but they've lost it in dangerous territory. Shoto Abe trying to make ground. Now Marcinho will give chase at the other end, but Nagatomo was always going to get there first if required. Just enough of a head start on the Brazilian. It's a danger for Tokyo, though. Frontale with plenty of numbers forward in support of the attack. Something they've been able to do a bit better in recent matches. It's not necessarily yet been reflected on the score sheet. Not been in free scoring form at any stage of the season. The signs are that they're getting there. Return from injury recently of Marcinho after 5 games out with a hamstring injury. Could be important in aiding their prospects. Still without Leandro Damião, who did briefly make a return earlier in the season, as the ball is played over the top in towards Miyashiro, who couldn't quite reach it. He's the top scorer, but just 3 to his name so far through the first dozen matches, 11 of which he has started before tonight. Shige, the captain, is the one who was able to clear it away. Veteran of over 400 matches for the club. Nakagawa, space in which to work. Tanabe was the one trying to deliver. Nakagawa's effort blocked, with Tanabe again will whip it in. And the goalkeeper will come and claim convincingly. Zhao Schmidt, that was a little risky. Nakagawa was alert to the opportunity, which didn't quite materialise for him. The referee is going to pull this back because of the collision between the goalkeeper Kami Fukumoto and Diego Oliveira. Tokyo's number 9 is also down. That started the first 11 league games of the season before coming on at the break. Last time out, Diego Oliveira straight back in the starting lineup today. And he was just getting back to his feet, and that collision occurred. It's a pretty innocuous one. Both players still down after that, a little surprisingly. Fukumoto appears to have an issue with his shoulder. Forced his way into the team, as I mentioned, ahead of the vastly experienced South Korean keeper Jung Sung-ryong, who's back on the bench. There didn't appear an awful lot in it. And it just provides the opportunity for both sides to collect their thoughts after the frantic early stages of this Classico. Fevered atmosphere of the National Stadium. Albert Puig, the Tokyo coach, a big fan of his team playing their matches here. He would like it to happen more frequently, I think. It certainly adds to the test for Toru Aniki and his side coming here. We'll restart with the drop ball. Kurumaya, back in the heart of the defence tonight. He spent a lot of the season at left-back. Nagatomo away. Xiao Schmidt will reach it. Ike Yamane won't. Just running out of room on that far side. He's reclaimed his regular role, Xiao Schmidt. He was a little surprisingly in and out of the side at the start of the season, but it's a 5th successive start for him in J1. His 3rd season at the club. That physical presence, that defensive insurance in midfield, and that's a lovely ball slipped through towards the run of Miyashiro. Did get to it ahead of the goalkeeper. It's now a flag up on the far side. His runs will cause issues. We're seeing that already in the opening exchanges tonight. That was close. Just a fraction offside, I think. Lovely ball weighted into his path that he did well to reach ahead of the goalkeeper. Was ultimately academic. Making that starting spot his own this season, though. Having been recalled from last year's loan at Sagon Tosu. He scored 8 times in J1. With Leandro Damião injured for most of the season, and Yu Kobayashi only recently returning to fitness. Opportunities opened up for Miyashiro. Is there going to be an opportunity for Tokyo at the other end here? Those in white quickly back in position defensively. Couldn't engineer the opening, and now Xiao Schmidt will try and launch the counter-attack. Fairly frantic first 10 minutes. It's given away somewhat carelessly. Schmidt wins it back against Shuto Abe. Nainiga with time to assess his options. 3 to try and pick out in the penalty area. Seko's header, saved by Svovic. He wasn't overly extended by it, but would have been concerned at the way the defence in front of him was stretched a little bit here. A bit of space to get on the end of it. Tatsuki Seko. His only goal so far this season came in the group stages of the Levine Cup, the League Cup competition, to open his account in the current campaign in J1. go down as half a chance for him early on in this one. It's Marcinho's header. Higashi picking up the pieces. Nagatomo. Space to set himself, to sling the cross in. Abe got his head to it. Tokumoto will try and keep the danger alive on that far side. And flash one in! Brilliant goal! The left-back, Shuhei Tokumoto for F.C.Tokyo. Opens the scoring in style in the Classico. It's a fabulous finish. It's his first ever goal in J1. The angle appeared to be against him, but that's brilliant. Kemi Fukumoto caught out in goal as it flashed beyond him. He kept clean sheets in his last two matches, but this time Kawasaki Frontale will have to come from behind if they are to maintain their recent winning run. Because it's F.C.Tokyo who conceded 5 times last weekend and have hit the front early on in this rivalry game at the National Stadium. And it's an unlikely name, really, on the score sheet. New signing for this season, Shuhei Tokumoto, having made over 100 appearances in J2. Scores in the big league for the first time. First goal for F.C.Tokyo is a memorable one. One that might matter much here. Certainly gives them something to work with. Provides the platform as they try and upset the odds, both the recent form book and historically, really, the balance of power in this fixture. They've met 40 times before. Frontale winning over half of those games, 21 victories to Tokyo's 10 down the years, including each of the last 5 in all competitions, and the last 7 league meetings between them. But so far, this one is going the other way. Fukumoto comes and collects for only the 3rd time since he stepped into the side 5 games ago. Marcinho. Frontale unbeaten in 5 games in all competitions coming here, but under threat again. Nakagawa. And still trying to set himself, and it's deflected away. Big opening, though, for Teruhito Nakagawa. Although I don't think it would have counted. Yeah, he was trying to hold that run, wasn't he? Very nearly did so. Not quite, but he couldn't find the finish anyway. It was Ominami that got the block in. In favour of Yenica. 15 minutes in, Frontale have to find more. Three straight wins coming into this. First time they've put that sequence together since victories in each of the last 4 matches of last season, which ended for them actually with a victory at home to F.C.Tokyo. By 3-2, the last time that they met at the start of November. There's Nagatomo. Slight deflection on the cross. Tokumoto again. In towards Oliveira. Higashi gets his head to it. Worked wider by Morishige. Nakagawa. Wanted it back. Shuto Abe wasn't quite able to return it to him, but now does get his foot on the ball. It's all FC Tokyo right now, really good spell for them. Frontale haven't quite recovered their composure since the concession. Highlighted, I think, by the attempted challenge there from Marcinho, the mistimed challenge from Marcinho. Top scorer last season with 15 goals. Still without one so far in 2023. Schwavik forward. It goes from one goalkeeper to the other. Here is Kami Fukumoto. To Borizato. Precise enough. Composure a little lacking from Aniki's team at the moment. Only failed to score twice away from home all season. They haven't really got going yet, the visitors here. Off Yamane for the throw, which was taken quickly. Tokyo looking to keep the tempo high. Tanabe to Diego Oliveira. Made it his initially, but couldn't quite force his way through as intended. Focal point of the team, Diego Oliveira. 6th season with them now, and 8th year in Japanese football. The experienced Brazilian. Flick on there towards goal was by Watanabe. Gathered up by Kami Fukumoto. There's a real threat about this Tokyo team. It hasn't always been there this season. Despite the fact they've had slightly less of the ball so far. They've done much more with it. And that was neatly done by Miyashiro. Wakizaka into it. To link with Yenaka. Schauschmidt. Seko. This is Naborizato. Wasn't quite where Tatsuki Seko wanted it. Therefore, he was always stretching for it. And always likely, I guess, in the circumstances, to concede the free kick. Too often, really, for Frontale's liking, Tokyo have been first to the second ball in these first 20 minutes or so. Decent distance on the clearance from the Polish goalkeeper, Jakub Schwavik. There's Diego Oliveira. Fairly cynical one right in front of the referee. Maya being called across, looks like he will receive a lecture rather than a card. Never likely to win the ball, attempting the tackle from that position. Coming in from behind on Diego Oliveira. Certainly felt the effects of it. There will be a free kick to follow. Goal scorer Tokumoto, who is standing over the free kick. Plenty of options here for those in red and blue. By Tokumoto, you can see what he was trying. It was there to be hit for Shuto Abe. Power but not precision. moment that currently separates the sides. On the less favoured right foot, Shuhei Tokumoto, not that you would know it from the manner in which it was taken. That's the difference so far. And back well by Zhao Schmidt here. To go back to the 18th of March 2017 for the last time Tokyo beat Frontale at home, which they did by 3-0. Haven't beaten them home or away in the league since May of 2018, and a 2-0 victory in Kawasaki. 9 league matches they've played since then. So far just haven't got going forward. Tempting to change that here. We'll need to get J.LEAGUE more into the game if they're to manage it. That appears to be the target. Still so important to the side. And at the age of 36, his 7th season with them. Last year was a career best year for him in front of goal. He scored 12 times in the top flight. Hoping to win the corner here. Plenty of height on it. Miyashiro underneath it. Nakagawa was able to bring it away, though. Leaves the immediate pressure. Always gives them an out ball, Nakagawa. He's got 4 goals since joining from F. Marinos for this year. Capped a couple of times by Japan. 8 years in Yokohama. And a couple of league titles there with the Marinos. Something of a statement signing by F.C.Tokyo ahead of this year. It's certainly been integral to their attack, even if the side collectively hasn't quite clicked yet this year. Had won 3 on the bounce in all competitions before losing the last 2, and they come forward again here with Nagatomo, Watanabe, Nagatomo. Those 2 patiently combine and try and pick a way through. Shooter Abe involved in the attack as well, as he often tends to be. Nothing for them at the end of that one, though. Zhao Schmidt getting himself into a little bit of a tangle, a little bit of trouble. Diego Oliveira working it wider. It's flashed back in. Shuto Abe on the end of it, and Tokyo double their lead. 2-0. Abe reacting quickest in front of goal to apply the decisive touch. And some story developing here at the National Stadium. All came about after Zhao Schmidt lost possession just in front of his own penalty area. And Tokumoto, scorer of the first goal, is the creator of the second goal. With an excellent ball in from similar territory from where he scored. This time he's provided the service for Shuto Abe. He was the recipient of that pre-match presentation to mark a century of appearances in this league. He's come up with his second goal of this season, and it's a really big goal for F.C.Tokyo. 2-0 they lead, with the first half barely beyond its midway point. 2-0 they lead in the Tamagawa Classico. And it's been an awful long time since they've been able to say that. What happens from here will be fascinating. Turning the current form book upside down in the early exchanges tonight. And so far you can see why Albert Puig would like his team to play more home matches here, I think. They really have risen to the occasion. Borzato. Again, it's a little loose. Zhao Schmidt. Quite uncharacteristic, really, for Schmidt, the way that he lost it in the build-up to the second goal. He's the one that normally provides those solid foundations at the base of the midfield. But not that time. Fukumoto conceding twice. That's as many goals as he had let in his first 4 starts of the season. Twice inside the opening half an hour here. Wakazaka. Frontale need to find a response. Seko. Yenaga will reach it. Plenty in wide in the penalty area if they can pick a way through here. No chances taken from Morishige in bundling it behind. This is better from Kawasaki Frontale. Trying to find a response. Needed the intervention of the veteran centre-back to concede only the corner. See what Frontale can make of it. Wakazaka, the captain, will take it. If we're not quite happy yet to blow the whistle, there's a little bit going on in the penalty area. He wants to attend to first. Despite the warnings, those tussles continuing. So Wakazaka into a dangerous area. Diego Oliveira rising highest, though. Helping out his defence. It's still not away yet. Nakagawa fends off the presence of Zhao Schmidt. Although they couldn't launch the counter-attack, Tokyo will be content enough with how they dealt with the threat. Certainly need to stand up to those set pieces as the game goes on. Goal, as I mentioned, was enough for Kawasaki Frontale in winning each of their last 2 games. Certainly won't be enough tonight. They need to get that goal to give themselves some sort of hope in the match. Restore belief that they can take something from it. Nagatomo away. There's certainly been enough vulnerabilities at the back from F.C.Tokyo this season to suggest that Frontale are more than capable of coming back into this contest, which is still in its relative infancy. I'm starting to see a bit more of the ball in advanced areas now. There's Seko, whipped it in menacingly. Didn't quite come for Miyashiro. Tokumoto was just afforded the time to clear. For later, Miyashiro at the moment is the one looking the most likely for Kawasaki Frontale. I'm sure we'll see Yu Kobayashi at some stage, given his impact off the bench recently. It's the start of the season through injury. Tanabe. There's a foul in there on Koizumi. Clear-cut one, conceded by Borzato. Understandable that Toru Aniki kept changes to a minimum after the victory last weekend against Sagantosu. Might now be regretting that, given the way that this has started. It's given away again by Zhao Schmidt. Abe. There's the plan to profit from the last one. But now some space for Miyashiro. Nakagawa trying to get back to him. did so a little too agriculturally, really, and it's going to cost him a card. Looking at that, I don't think he can have any complaints. The ground that he covered to get there. The referee was very much in the vicinity. He was always likely to reach for his pocket, I think. Yellow card, Nakagawa, first booking of the game. Zato, touch was a little heavy under pressure. It's made it more difficult than it might have been. It's certainly proving a very difficult evening so far for Kawasaki Frontale. Against the Tokyo team who've won just 2 of their last 8 league matches. Lost 4 of the most recent 7. That was after suffering just 1 defeat in the first 5 this year. They made, unlike Frontale, unlike Aniki's team, a fairly solid start to this season. So they've not really been able to build upon. Despite the different narratives surrounding their season so far, there is just 3 points between them in the table, although so congested is it in the middle part of the standings. There's actually 5 places between them going into tonight. Tokumoto forward, asking Nakagawa to chase it. He's putting Omanami under pressure, but the offside flag was up. Frontale only won 1 of their first 7 games this season, the dramatic late victory on Matchweek 2 at Kashima Antlers. They have back-to-back away games coming here, 3 of the last 4 on their travels. And they're taking a chance though, and again possession has been surrendered inside their own half of the field in dangerous territory. Here's Abe, Watanabe, gets it back from Shuto Abe. Breaks favourably for Marcinho to try and relieve the pressure. He's able to do so by winning the free kick. And there's a yellow card for Watanabe. So that's 2 cautions in quick succession. Both to F.C.Tokyo players. Both attempting to win the ball back from behind. Confirmation of the card for Watanabe. It's his first booking of the season. Nakagawa winning it back. Morishige forward. Capped 41 times by Japan. That's 6 years now since the last of those. Geshi. Flick on was by Diego Oliveira. There was no more than that. Certainly Frontale starting to see even more of the ball now, but you would expect that to an extent. In the circumstances of the contest, they've not yet done anything like enough with it, and too many passes such as that have been going astray to ensure the majority of those periods of possession have thus far ended in frustration for Frontale. Nakagawa. Fukumoto will leave it. Kurumaya will try and bring it out from the back instead. The Borazato. Back from Marcinho. Kurumaya spreading the play. It's cut out by Tokumoto. He's had such a big influence on the evening so far, a goal and an assist for the left-back, but now he's got some defensive work to do. Where's it going to fall here? It's a super save from Schwovik, who reacted brilliantly when it fell favourably for Miyashiro. There's certainly an element of fortune for Frontale about how it did, so he didn't know an awful lot about it, I don't think, Tasso Miyashiro initially. But he thumped the shot goalwards, and Švović was in the right place to make the save. Toru Aniki needed that one to go in, really. Miyashiro will feel it should have done. Corner as a result, but it's fairly comfortably cleared away. Tokumoto, who else? Who rose to meet that and repel the danger. And a real scare for F.C.Tokyo a moment ago, really for the first time in the game. Borazzato, Marcinho, as Frontale look to keep the pressure on. Those two combine again, and Borazzato cutting it back. Miyashiro couldn't quite find the space to turn. Just crowded out of it. There's a bit more of a frantic nature to Tokyo's defending right now. Greater intensity about the Frontale attack, that is for sure. Greater urgency, very much required by the scoreline. Nearly for Tatsuki Seko. Fifth straight start for him, 7th and 8th in midfield. Second season since signing from Yokohama FC. Lovely little link-up between Marcinho and Borazzato. Highlighting a likely route to productivity for Frontale. Švović. He's got it caught under his feet for a split second or so. Nakagawa beaten to that by Kurumaya. Wakazaka. Miyashiro! Beautifully taken goal to get Kawasaki Frontale back in the game. They'd been applying the pressure, now they reap their reward. He'd come close just a few moments earlier at Tasso Miyashiro. He wasn't to be denied this time. The top scorer this term. It's his 4th of the season in J1. A 5th in all competitions. It might be a game changer. Just a little nick off Kimoto on the way in. But it was struck with conviction by Miyashiro. They needed that, Kawasaki Frontale, before half-time. It does change the mood somewhat. Challenge on Tokumoto. It's a free kick for his team in useful territory here as they look for the instant response. The attempted restoration of their 2-goal cushion. Having one in, it will be Tokumoto to take it, as he has a number of these first half free kicks. It's a good one. It's into a really dangerous area. Xiao Schmidt gets something on it to divert it from immediate danger. Nakagawa will try and return it. Almost came all the way through. A little panicky from Frontale, but they get the job done in clearing the danger in the end. It's an absorbing contest, as it was always likely to be, between these great J1 rivals, the cities of Tokyo and Kawasaki, separated only by about 20 kilometers or so. Tanabe was trying to force a way through. Unable to do so, now space for Frontale. Marcinho's ball shouldn't really have reached J.LEAGUE, but it does. Now he needs some support, provided by Wakazaka. Something of a standoff ensues. Borozzato showcasing his threat going forward from fullback. Marcinho, and still Marcinho tees one up instead for Secco, who was closed down quickly. Both teams carrying real, genuine attacking threat now. How often have we seen this from Marcinho? It's been an enthralling edition thus far of the Tamagawa Classico. So named, by the way, after the Tama River, which separates the Tokyo and Kanagawa prefectures in Japan. The side have very much had the better of the rivalry recently. Not so in this first half, though. But Frontale suggesting that they're capable of finding a way back. Schmidt furious here to see how much it means, but it's a fine line that he is treading. And Gashi on the receiving end. Cool heads required in a fixture such as this. It's been a difficult first half for Schmidt. Such an important part to play in this team, and he would do well not to continue that conversation too much longer. It's a genuine attempt from him to win the ball. Had a very different interpretation of the outcome to the man that matters, the referee. Eventually, it ends amicably enough for now. Nagatomo the target here. Borozzato just got back to him. Volume levels, if anything, in this stadium getting even louder as we head towards half-time. Goal back from Miyashiro, who really has set up the second half as a spectacle, putting the outcome back in the balance. Tokyo will argue that they merit a first half advantage if they are able to take this scoreline into half-time. Not entirely given up on extending it yet before the break. They have, in fairness, responded pretty well to the disappointment of conceding that Frontale goal. Manami's clearance, Shuto Abe on the end of it. Nakagawa helping it back in field. Here's Watanabe. Entirely quick to get players back behind the ball in the central areas. Well weighted. Watanabe in towards Diego Oliveira. Didn't quite have the room in which to work as we go into 3 added minutes at the end of this fabulous first half. No way through for Marcinho. He's completely outnumbered in there. He's still battling for it. There's the Brazilian. Ultimately in vain. He's got a bit to say, I think, to 1 or 2 teammates who he might feel could have done rather more to help him out. Abe. Nakagawa. How they're working Tokyo off the ball. Ferocity with which they're pressing. Frontale, a team adept at dealing with the press, though, at trying to play their way through it. They have the quality to be able to do that. We've seen that over recent seasons. Still in the process, really, of trying to establish themselves as contenders again, as perennially they have been in recent years. The real forces in J1. Here they come again. Miyashiro the target for the ball that was hoisted in his direction. Then Zhao Schmidt was trying to get there. That was a painful one, because he did look just about favourite to get there. Both players hurt in the process. Tanabe was stretching, not fully under control at the point of impact here. Both only had eyes for the ball. Both were determined to get there first. And it has come at something of a cost to each of them. Will only extend this first half drama further with the stoppage in, stoppage time. It's the goal that has restored hope from Miyashiro. So important for Kawasaki Frontale that they did get something back before the break. Makes their task of completing the comeback look that much more manageable in the second period. Good to see both players back on their feet. There is a yellow card for Zhao Schmidt. Once he does get up again, and it's going to be a costly one, it will spell a one-match suspension for him. It's his fourth yellow of the season already. As it will end this little run of 5 straight starts in the heart of their midfield. To Yokohama FC next Saturday, the next fixture. They will do so without Zhao Schmidt. A big second half in store at the National Stadium tonight. Before then, because it is F.C.Tokyo that have the advantage at the interval. Shuhei Tokumoto has been the star man, scoring the opening goal a dozen minutes in, setting up the second for Shuto Abe. Kawasaki Frontale renewing hope. Miyashiro, moments after seeing one shot saved by Jakub Slovic, then produced an excellent effort from the edge of the area to halve the deficit, and suggest that there is much more to come in this story in the second half at the National Stadium. It has been full-on frantic fare so far. And at half-time here, it is F.C.Tokyo 2, Kawasaki Frontale 1. So here come the teams for the second half at the National Stadium. Let's see what's in store from here. F.C.Tokyo leading Kawasaki Frontale by 2-1 after a really open, entertaining first 45, in which they took the home team a 2-0 lead. Fukumoto scoring one and setting up the other for Shuto Abe, but Frontale restoring hope. Mr. Miyashiro's goal. So they look to keep their improved form going. Frontale still a big task to do so in this second half. Still more of a turnaround required. They showed enough to suggest that they are capable of doing that. But plenty of positives for Albert Puig and F.C.Tokyo from that first half display. They really did rise to the big occasion. It's hugely impressive National Stadium. First of a handful of games that they will play here this season, and they've embraced it. They're almost ready to go again. Another big effort required in this second period if they are to see the job through and record the victory that would take them level on points in the table with Kawasaki Frontale, were it to stay like this. Clubs currently separated by 5 places in the standings. So here we go for the second period then. F.C.Tokyo to get the action back underway, leading Kawasaki Frontale by 2-1. Really will be fascinating to see what happens from here. Difficult one to call, really, given how that first half went. The intensity required was on display from both sides. An early statement of intent, F.C.Tokyo, with the way that they took the game to Frontale at the start of the first half. And I'm sure we'll be looking for something similar here. No alterations by either coach at half-time. So it's as you were in terms of personnel. Plenty of options for later in reserve. Stays like this for too much longer, I'm sure we will see Yu Kobayashi for Frontale in particular. Joe Schmidt had a difficult first period, culminating in a yellow card just before the interval. He was partly culpable for the concession of the second Tokyo goal, losing possession just in front of his own penalty area. They will press high here, will the home side, and get the corner kick. Seeded by Yamane, the Japanese international right-back. He wasn't in their most recent squad in March, but he did go to the World Cup in Qatar. Miki Yamane, 16 caps for his country now, just one appearance in Qatar, which will, of course, host the next Asian Cup in January, delayed from this summer. Draw for which was made the other day for the group stages. Tokumoto to take the corner kick for F.C.Tokyo. Goalkeeper got a glove on it. Actually almost turned it back into trouble, Kami Fukumoto there, but they survived the scare. Jakob Schwovic at the other end, Tries to return it. Was won well by Yamane. You can see what he was trying, looking for the run of Miyashiro. Always offers Frontale an option with his movement in attack. This will come for Diego Oliveira. Nice weight of pass, slipping it through. Zumi had covered good ground to get on the end of it. Manami standing his ground to concede only the corner. From the last one, there's a little bit of fortune maybe involved for Kami Fukumoto. Made the decision to come. Made sure that he got to it first and got something on it, but didn't necessarily deal with the danger. There'll be another corner here for Tokumoto. Goalkeeper tries something similar. It's a similar outcome, really. Got just enough on it this time. There will be a free kick to follow. Wakazaka was trying to complete the clearance effectively. Instead, he has caught Nakagawa and conceded the free kick. Always stretching. He's fortunate, actually, that the contact was made, and you could see clearly there how and where the contact was made, that it was just outside the penalty area. When he committed to the challenge, he was inside the area. Yasuto Wakazaka. So he knows, actually, that it could have been worse. Still a dangerous position, this. And it has been F.C.Tokyo that have made the stronger start to the second half, just as they did the first. This Tamagawa Classico, in which Tokumoto has played such a central role so far. Let's see what his latest contribution will be. Plenty of time to assess his options here, to consider his angles. But hang on, is this the check for a penalty? Referee's been told to come across MEIJI Nishimura and have a look at the screen. Well, now they're checking actually whether it should be a red card. The contact was clearly only just outside the area, but the indication here from the video assistant referee, and that is Ryo Tanemoto, is that this could be a red for Wakazaka. Now it is up to Nishimura to decide whether he concurs or not, looking at this footage. He is having a long look at this footage. The longer this goes on, the more the suspicion grows that the captain could be in real trouble for Frontale here. We'll see what he's going to do. After viewing the footage, he is reaching for his pocket and reaching for the red card. And Kawasaki Frontale, already a goal down, are now a player down. It wasn't given by Nishimura at the time, but on review, it's a red. And Frontale's task just got even tougher from here. And that's a costly one. Yasuto Wakazaka sent off. Captain initially cautioned, but it's been upgraded to a red on review. As he makes his way off the field, Frontale's chances going with him. He was a goal scorer against Tokyo on the final day of last season, Yasuto Wakazaka. a different story here. It was high, wasn't it? The stud showing. That's why it's been reviewed and why it is now a red card for a player twice named to the J-League best 11 in each of the last 2 years. So important to Toru Oniki's team, but they'll have to cope without him for the remainder of the contest. And they know the implications of that decision. Further punishment perhaps still to come from this free kick that Tokumoto has had even longer to think about now. Whips it in low. It's fairly comfortably cleared away. Yenaga back defending. But their prospects of seeing this job through have been considerably enhanced by the red card. Still work to do, of course. But it will aid the belief amongst the home side that this might be their day after all. They've worked it well here, and they've got 3 to try and pick out. Oh, so unlucky! Crashes back off the bar from Watanabe. And then Nakagawa can't quite convert on the follow-up. Fraction away from 3-1. And look at the space that he did have here, Ryoma Watanabe. He caught it so sweetly, caught it flush, just brushed the head of Omanami, and that touch, that merest of touches, might just have been the one that took it onto the bar. Might just have been the one that kept Frontale in the game, even if their position is a precarious one right now. Close to his 3rd goal of the season, Watanabe. And Tokyo will certainly sense their chance. Had that one gone in, then it would have been an awful long way back for the 10 of Frontale. And Toru Oniki is planning changes now in response to the changing situation in the contest. A double substitution appears to be in the offing. Interesting to see what he does from here to reorganise after the sending off of Wakazaka for the first time in his J1 career. Yenaga, that licence to roam again. He's had to drop very deep to get on the ball. Yamane comes off Tokumoto for the throw. This is Seko. Tokyo currently content to drop players deep inside their own half, afford their opponent's possession in this part of the pitch. Yamane to Yenaga. Driving forward here is Higashi. Nagatomo joining in with the attack. Keigo Higashi. Different type of challenge now for Tokyo. Tokumoto. Higashi again. Nakagawa will reach it. It's going to be another free kick. It's Takuma Omanami this time, he's conceded it. It's a clumsy one, really. For Kozumi. He's been on the end of a couple of those. There's Kai Kozumi, another of the Tokyo-born contingent in the home team's ranks. And this game just means that little bit more, maybe. Could be a potential turning point in Tokyo's season if they're able to win this one. Though we have said that before, and it's not quite happened yet. Two isolated results of note over the course of the campaign, but not yet the consistency required to really make ground up the table. Tokamoto will take the free kick. It's into an awkward area. It wasn't really dealt with there. Zhao Schmidt again gets a little bit fortunate. Just didn't seem to react in wide. Skimmed off the head of Miyashiro just before it reached Zhao Schmidt. And nobody coming in behind could take advantage. So here come the changes. Marcinho making way, not really got into the game in the way that he would have hoped. Dayatono is on in his place. And Tatsuki Seko also comes off. Ryoto Oshima is on. He's had a bit of an impact off the bench in recent games. More of the same going to be required here. Had to do something, Toru Aniki at this stage. Rapidly heading towards the hour mark. Oshima's only started 3 games this season, but it's the 6th time that we've seen him off the bench. His 13th season at the club. He's another one-club man. Part of the Frontale squad that won those 4 league titles in the last 6 years. Yena goal rising there with Yasuki Kimoto. We're going to see a Tokyo change as well. The introduction off the bench of the Brazilian, Adeilton, in place of his compatriot, Diego Oliveira makes way. A very different type of player coming on. He was the top scorer last season with 12 goals. Adeilton, just the one so far this season in the league. 4th year at the club now. Like Diego Oliveira, well versed in Japanese football. It looks though as if that change has been forced upon Albert Puig, given the manner in which Oliveira left the field. Adeilton straight into the action. Couldn't quite control that one. So an hour in, FC Tokyo in control. A goal up. And with the extra player on the field as well after the sending off of Wakazaka. It's still a test of character if they're to get the job done here. I mentioned Frontale's slow start to the season, their only win in the first 7 games as that come from behind victory at Kashima Antlers. And they scored twice from the 89th minute onwards to win the game, and they were down to 10 at the time as well on that occasion after Yamamura's sending off. So it has been done before this year. I'd be asking a lot though, despite the fact they've had more of the ball. Yet to see a shot from them in this second half. Setting off in pursuit of that before taking a tumble. Taking on Morishige. Incredible experience involved in that particular tussle. The 36-year-old against the 35-year-old. 2 Japanese internationals. Still so important in their respective roles to their teams. Trying to put the brakes on there was Higashi. It's only his 3rd start in the last 8 matches. Who joined a decade ago. If we will see Kobayashi involved in the first round of substitutions. If they're still in search of an equalising goal as this game goes on, then that is the anticipated next change for Aniki. Free kick to come here. Oshima on the field long, he's the one who takes it. It's Kimoto away. Borazato's taken over the captain's armband, as you can see, after the sending off for the skipper, Wakazaka. Ishiro making the run in the middle. On the move in the middle. Zhao Schmidt was in there as well. It didn't get that far. It loops up comfortably into the gloves of the goalkeeper. Has been something of a response from Kawasaki Frontale since the sending off. Now, since the substitutions, the reorganisation, a bit more of a threat about them, but this is the danger, of course, at the other end. They're going to have to take some risks from here if they're to get anything out of the game. Oshima did well to get his foot to that. Zhao Schmidt slipping it into space for Naborizato. It's just behind Oshima. It's cut out by Shuto Abe. Scorer of the second Tokyo goal in the first half that is ultimately now the difference between the teams. The second goal of the season. Frontale only won 2 of their first 11 matches this season in all competitions. Came into tonight with 3 victories on the bounce. Back-to-back away games, actually, prior to tonight, for the first time in a year. Much more required if they are to stretch that sequence further this evening. Not sure that F.C.Tokyo really have responded as they would have liked to that red card. They seem to kind of be stuck deciding whether to stick or twist at the moment. It came at a time when they were really taking the game to Frontale. Quite happened since then. There's Yenaga. Looking for Naborizato, who was able to reach it, but nobody close enough to him in support to take advantage of that. Noticeable, isn't it, that F.C.Tokyo are now in this defensive block, really. Pretty much everybody inside their own half of the field, even with the extra man. It's given away, though, by Kami Fukumoto. So much that the goalkeeper feels comfortable enough to advance into that type of territory for Frontale. As Zhao Schmidt goes long, it's a good ball. Nodded down dangerously. So try and get on the end of it. Oshima. Referee had a long look at that. He's in a good position to do so, waves it on. Maybe just delayed a fraction too long, Ryota Oshima. Wasn't able to get his shot away, and that'll be a free kick. And a chance to clear their lines, clear their heads maybe a little bit. F.C.Tokyo. Yenaga that nodded it down intelligently. On the other end, it was Tokumoto following forward once more. This time they did push a few more forward in support of the attack, so have to hurry back again. Yenaga's not going to get to that. Some encouraging signs for Frontale in the last few minutes, that even after the sending off, despite the fact they still trail, they are not out of this yet. Substitutions have worked well for them, I think, in that respect. He approached the midway point of this second half. Tokumoto. They put so much into the game, did Tokyo, in the early exchanges. Perception may be that that could catch up with them in the latter stages. In theory, that should be aided by the fact that they have the extra player on the field. be as much of a factor as it could have been, but it does currently appear to be becoming a factor. Manami. Kurumaya. They're certainly not too interested in pressing high up the pitch now, are they, FC Tokyo? I wonder psychologically if the recent history of this fixture becomes a factor when they are close now, when the odds are in their favour of recording a victory over Frontale. They haven't managed for 5 years. Each will certainly be well aware of the significance of this contest. Frontale now winning those second balls in a way that they weren't earlier in the game. Now looking for the run of Tono. Taking on Nagatomo. Oshima, who's making himself available since his introduction. Here he is again. The Borizato. That's a clever ball. And in it goes towards Miyashiro, trying to keep it alive in there. Again, he was just a little quicker to react than the home team. Clever run from Dayatono, had been spotted, the double ricochet in there. Those in red and blue appeared to stop for a split second or so. Miyashiro was alert. Schwovic ultimately was in the way. It's a dangerous stage of the game for FC Tokyo. Corner kick is the outcome from that particular passage of play. Brought Manami forward from centre-back. Xiao Schmidt is in there as well. He's the near-post target. It's Tokamoto who rose to clear it initially, but it will come back yet. Manami. Xiao Schmidt. Trying to create some space from somewhere. Dinked forward dangerously. But ultimately Tokyo's defence stands firm, and now they will apply the pressure on Kami Fukumoto, who is adept with ball at feet. It's one of the reasons really why he's been brought into the team, but he did look a little panicky under pressure on that particular occasion. What Frontale can't afford to do now is concede again. That surely, in the circumstances, would be that. Such a key stage of the contest now into these last 20 minutes. Yuki Sugagawa being readied. About to be brought on, it would appear, to face his former club. Title winner with Kawasaki Frontale. Set to be summoned to face them for the conclusion tonight. Watanabe again. And again. Just over the head of Adeelton. It will come through for Tokamoto. Quite been as effective in the second half as he was in the first. He might get another go here, Tokamoto. Nakagawa's made the run. Just important, I think, for Tokyo that they've reasserted their authority in attack now. Trying to pick away through Abe. Watanabe didn't quite come for him to get his shot away. Yenaga back helping out his defence. This will be allowed to continue. It's Higashi to have a hit. A little bit unfortunate in where it fell. Really fine margins we're talking about at the moment. Fiercely forward affair. Sukagawa is on then. He will take the place of Watanabe. 23 appearances he made in a couple of years with Kawasaki Frontale. Now in his second season in the capital to face Frontale. With his team 2-1 in front, Watanabe has come the closest of anybody to making that 3-1 with his effort onto the bar. As he makes way, it is with the match still very much in the balance. Be some story of Sukagawa could have a decisive say in the story, though. Borisato, Miyashiro, he will get there and he will keep it in. Finds Borisato again. Dayatono, Borisato. Xiao Schmidt. His role has evolved a little bit since the sending off. He has to get more involved now, as he's still capable of doing in the attacking phase of the game. And a real spoiler's role in the first half. Manami. Referee is going to intervene. Actually, the player penalised. Got the boot of Oshima rather than the ball. And this little stoppage will enable further substitutions to happen here. Looks like 3 of them. So Yu Kobayashi is coming on for Miyashiro. He's got his goal that got Frontale back in the game in the first half. They've not yet been able to build upon it. Yu Kobayashi comes off the bench for the 5th time of a season delayed by injury for him. His 14th season at the club. The one-time J1 MVP in 2017. Yeniga making way. Tashi Banada, he's lost his regular starting spot recently, having begun the season as the club captain. He's coming on. Off the bench for the 4th time in the last 5 games now. He will provide more defensive insurance, really, in midfield. So another little bit of a reshuffle required going into this closing quarter of an hour. Xiao Schmidt goes cross-field this time. Yamane well advanced. He's looking for Kobayashi, whose eagerness to get involved straight away has actually led to Frontale conceding the free kick. He's pulling the shirt of Teruhito Nakagawa. Did come off the bench to have the MEIJI say a couple of games ago. Kobayashi got a 94th minute winner at Kyoto Sanga during Golden Week, that midweek round of fixtures. Look at their record in the last 15 minutes of matches. Frontale with 6 goals scored at this stage of games this season. F.C.Tokyo without a single goal in the final 15 minutes of matches. They don't necessarily need one. 11 against 10. And players on the pitch, 2-1 to Tokyo on the score sheet. All the onus is on Frontale, despite the fact that the odds are against them. But they are giving this a go. In fact, Tokyo's lead probably looks as slender a one right now as it has done at any stage of the game. Yamane towards Oshima. Yamane again. Tokamoto. Does often play an important part in Frontale being able to build up from the back as the goalkeeper. Now they've gone longer with an excellent crossfield ball, good shot, and there's the chance, which is wide. Big chance in front of goal for Yamane. One that he couldn't make the most of, and how costly could that prove? That was brilliant in the build-up. Flying save from Shvovic as well to keep out the effort from Tono. It's an excellent stop. But Yamane would still have backed himself to pick up the pieces when the rebound fell his way in really dangerous territory. By some margin, the closest that Frontale have come to levelling this game. From 2-0 down, with 10 men, they are really giving this a go in pursuit of parity. F.C.Tokyo living dangerously right now, having been at one stage in clear command. They need to earn a little bit of respite really at the other end. Clearly a third goal would effectively settle it, but even without that, they just need to keep hold of the ball a bit better. Just need to make more of the extra player. The attendance confirmed, that's short of 57,000 inside the National Stadium. Wonderful occasion. Friday night J-League, always something a little bit special to start the weekend, but particularly here, under the lights in the capital, at the National Stadium. And F.C.Tokyo close to recording a memorable home win in the Tamagawa Classico. Not close enough for comfort yet. Oshima. Zhao Schmidt. They've got 3 in the penalty area. Plenty back though in the red and blue. It will be a free kick. Tashi Banada, having come on, has assumed that captain's armband. As I say, he is the skipper in the squad. He's been out of favour in the starting lineup recently. He's in there battling for that. Frontale battling for a point, if they can find their goal in these last 10 minutes of the 90. Plenty have made the short trip. 20 kilometres north of Kawasaki. Won the last 6 trips to F.C.Tokyo. Can they do from the free kick here? Well, not enough. It's comfortably through for Shvovic. Sails straight through, really, to the goalkeeper. Tokamoto forward and continued his run. So it's Shota Abba, but they will let that go for the throw. Just trying to take the sting out of the situation, really. Just slow things down a little bit. Another change for Kawasaki Frontale. Looks like Zhao Schmidt making way here. Shin Yamada. Another forward thrown into the fray. He's their most used substitute this season, the 11th time off the bench. He's featured in every game, actually, but he's only started 2 of them. Second year at the club. First as a permanent member of the squad after joining from university. He's come off the bench now in each of the last 7 matches. So that extra defensive presence in midfield sacrificed. I guess the earlier introduction into the action of Tashi Banada has afforded Toro Aniki the chance to do that. Dictated really by the situation that his side find themselves in. Trailing at this now late stage of the game. Tokamoto. task, really, in the role of match winner after his first half heroics. Shooter Abe also on target, almost turning provider this time. It's a good ball in. And Sukagawa just couldn't quite reach it. He was only a fraction away, he got the merest of touches to it. No more than that. Frontale go long. I need to see a bit more of that in these last few minutes, I suspect. He's going to come through, and it was neatly done. Defending not quite so convincing there. The referee had a look at that, waves it on. Would have been an injury in the process. Only just into the action, Shinyamada. Kimoto had to be careful. In the end, he was the one that went to ground. And there was contact from behind as well. Now the free kick. That's all good for the goalkeeper. He's asking a lot for him to come and get there. Jakub Slovic. Just about enough on it, as it turned down. Pretty much all he could have done, really, with that. But it does ensure that the pressure remains. Dayatono is going to take the corner kick right into the heart of the penalty area. Adeelton resisted the temptation just to launch it anywhere. Didn't get it away from immediate danger, and has won the ball back again here neatly. A little bit of fortune perhaps, but he made the most of it initially. Now he will try and close down the goalkeeper as well. Yamane. Tokyo getting stretched. Some tired legs, tired minds out there for the home team. Final 5 of the 90 now. They've not managed the situation particularly impressively since Frontale went down to 10 early in the second half. You certainly wouldn't know that they are the team a player short, because really they've dictated it ever since. Strange how that does seem to happen fairly frequently in football. But there will be space somewhere for F.C.Tokyo. The Gas come forward again, needing to keep their foot on the gas tonight. First founded 88 years ago as Tokyo Gas, but they didn't play in the national leagues until 1991, the last season of the old Japan Soccer League. 1999 that they became FC Tokyo and won promotion to J1. And currently in a 12th consecutive season at this level. Under a little bit of pressure again here. Frontale need to be so precise to pick a way through. Oh, brilliant effort, touched over the top by Slovic, who did really well to get his glove to that. He's made a difference, Dayatono. And very nearly conjured up an excellent equaliser. Lovely touch to create that little glimpse of goal. It was no more than that for him. But it was a brilliant, deliberate effort that was dipping under the bar and certainly needed the touch over the top from Slovic. Kawasaki Frontale really are applying the pressure now. They really do believe that there's still something in the game for them. Another change. Nakagawa's influence had waned, certainly, as the match had gone on. It's another defensive reinforcement introduced at this stage. Bang Nagande. The Tokyo-born player has come through the youth ranks here. Was starting relatively regularly until recently. is on for the final few minutes. It tells you everything, doesn't it, about their mindset now. They're holding on against the 10 for F.C.Tokyo. And only just at that. Another corner to face. A lot of movement in the middle. Goalkeeper was taken out of the equation on that occasion. And still the danger. That should be Schwabik's ball, and is. Claims it comfortably. Kobayashi it was that played it in. But it's anything but comfortable for F.C.Tokyo right now. There's Kamo Fukumoto as the sweeper keeper. They're effectively playing really almost with 10 outfield players. Frontale, as they have to, I guess, in the circumstances. Coped well since the sending off of Wakazaka. Forward it goes again towards Kobayashi. Will we see further late drama from Frontale? There's been plenty of it this season. That Kobayashi winner in stoppage time a couple of games ago. Kimi Fukumoto at times almost operating in midfield. In goal. There was that dramatic late turnaround, as mentioned at the start of the season at Kashima Antlers. They were a goal down to 10, going into the last minute of the 90, and won it from the penalty spot 11 minutes into added time. Even on the opening day of the season at Yokohama F. Marinos, that 2-1 defeat, their goal came a minute into added time. Tachi Banada was too little too late that day. Goal here would have much greater significance. We will find out shortly how much stoppage time they will have to try and score it. F.C.Tokyo just need to use this opportunity, though, to try and take charge again. Need to do anything spectacular. They just need to keep their heads, really. Keep control of the game, because there's 6 more minutes yet. Fourth officials board has just gone up. 6 added minutes from here. Free kick to follow, though, for F.C.Tokyo. They'll take that in the circumstances as a yellow card as well. It's got a bit too tight. And yeah, that was fairly blatant. Kurumaya goes into the book. Has kept his cards in his pocket where possible. Uichi Nishimura, of course, even when regarding the red, that was only given after a video review. Well, no great hurry for F.C.Tokyo here. Kozumi taking his time. They're not interested in launching it into the penalty area. Their priority is maintaining possession, ticking the clock down further. Ailton on the charge. The best way, of course, to see out the victory would be to score again. They've not really committed to that particular policy in the second half. Tono back doing his defensive work, but conceding the free kick. Intentions are all too clear, aren't they? Still quite a bit of stoppage time to go yet, though. Shows just how much this would mean to F.C.Tokyo. They really are hanging on against the 10 of Kawasaki Frontale. But if they are able to do so, if they do record this victory, it would give them such a lift in the context of their season. Particularly off the back of conceding 5 on Saturday at Consadole Sapporo. Back-to-back defeats coming into this. It's their biggest defeat of the season. This might just be their most significant win. Particularly so, given the fact that Frontale had found their form going into the game and had won 3 on the bounce. They were upwardly mobile coming into the Classico. This is better from Tokyo in terms of game management now, just removing a bit of the sting from the situation, Albert Pucci's team. 4th year managing in Japan, 2nd season in the capital. And 5 years coaching the youth teams at Barcelona. He was an assistant manager in MLS at New York City FC. And Dominic Torrent. Looks like his side are about to get the better of Toru Aniki's team. We're over halfway through the added period now. That was brought down neatly in by Omanami. Everybody forward, really. Oshima will chase after it. So too will Kobayashi. This is Oshima. Kobayashi, Tono. Omanami had stayed forward and is then clattered. Big moment in the match. Both players hurt. That's the immediate priority for the referee, and then he's got a decision to make. Both felt that they had to go for it in that moment, in the decisive moments of a compelling contest. Did just get to it first, did Morishige. Looks like he's come off second best in terms of the effects of the collision. He had to get to it first, and he did. Omanami equally had to go for it, had to challenge for it, but it's cost him a caution. And you wonder if they will get another go. Split second the other way, though, that could have been a penalty. Those are the margins that we're talking about. That's how tight it remains in Tokyo tonight. Morishige did so importantly just to get his head to that ball first. Exactly the player that they would have wanted in that situation, I guess, though, using all of his experience. Needed to be brave. Both players, understandably, are still feeling the effects of that. It was a hefty old coming together. Stretcher not going to be required for Omanami. But time is almost up. Again, the stoppage in stoppage time, a similar story to the end of the first half, will extend the drama further. Still looking very groggy, though, as he's helped from the field, Takuma Omanami. It's going to be the end of his evening a few seconds before the end of everybody else's. Yamamura is on in his place, just to try and help his team over the line. F.C.Tokyo, not much that Yamamura, I don't think, is going to be able to do for Frontale from here, because they have only seconds left to try and salvage it. On we go, only at the referee's discretion, but there will be a bit more, you suspect, because of those injuries. Tono on his toe to it, no more than that, backed by Tashi Banada. Tokyo just need to keep it away from their own territory. Kami Fukumoto trying to change that, he goes long. Shinyamada's looked lively in his late cameo off the bench. Frontale really have had the belief that they could get something from the game. They've come close on a couple of occasions, but it looks unlikely from here. Ailton will head towards the corner flag. Does say much that Tokyo have had to hang on in the manner that they have with the extra player for much of this second half. But hang on, it appears they will. Chance perhaps for one last attack for Kawasaki Frontale. There's Yamane, they have to get it forward quickly. There's the full-time whistle. Victory for F.C.Tokyo in the Tamagawa Classico. They've turned the recent form book on its head tonight. They've had to do it the hard way, but it is a vital victory. And thanks to the first half contribution, really, Shuhei Tokamoto with an opening goal early on and then setting up the second for Shuto Abe. Miyashiro had got one back before the break for Frontale, who went down to 10 after the sending off of the skipper. On review, the red card came out early in the second half. Wakazaka was dismissed. And Frontale, with 10, looked the better team after that. They were the ones applying the late pressure in pursuit of a point in a fixture that they have dominated over the course of the last 5 years, but the tables have turned tonight at the National Stadium. And F.C.Tokyo, after back-to-back defeats, are back to winning ways. It's finished here, F.C.Tokyo 2, Kawasaki Frontale 1. Three straight wins going into the game for Frontale. They've been upwardly mobile, Hadoniki's team, but they've hit a hurdle here in significant fashion, despite the second half endeavours which threatened to rescue a point against the odds. They showed real spirit, real resolve. No little belief either that they could get back in the game. Tokyo were hanging on, but hang on they do for a vital victory in this fixture. Particularly significant given the lack of them in recent years against their rivals. It's the first time that they've beaten Frontale in the league in 5 years. First time that they've beaten them at home since March of 2017. Relishing the switch to the big stage at the National Stadium today. That first half display is what this victory was built upon. And they had to dig deep in an edgy second half to see it through. They were hanging on at times, but they know, Albert Puig there knows just what this means. Might be more than 3 points in terms of the context of their campaign, given the form that they've been in, given the nature of the opposition that they have beaten here. And it's a setback, certainly, for Frontale in pursuit of trying to win their title back this season at a stage of the season when they were starting to hit their stride after such a sluggish start to 2023. They've been making strides up the table, but their progress has been checked here. And it remains to be seen the implications for them of this defeat. They've waited a while, of these F.C.Tokyo players, to be able to savour scenes like this in this particular fixture.
1ゴール1アシスト FC 東京の徳本周平選手にお越しいただきました。国立での玉川クラシコ、大活躍でチームの勝利に貢献しました。今のお気持ち聞かせてください。
最高です。
まずはゴールシーンですが